Hey everybody, Josh Peck here. Hope you're all doing well. So we got this news story, and then I got some announcements to make. But this is from Newsweek. Dozens of earthquakes rattle Japan after tsunami warning canceled. Now, the main reason that we pay attention to the earthquakes is because, of course, the prophecy that we were given by Jesus about how there's going to be earthquakes in diverse places in the end times, and we like to keep our eye on it to see, is this business as usual or is this more than normal. So that's why these kinds of stories are so important in terms of Bible prophecy. So it says dozens of earthquakes rattled Japan after tsunami warning canceled. I think it was something like 25 earthquakes within the past 24 hours, which is more than one an hour. So it says at least 25 earthquakes have struck off the coast of Japan in the last 24 hours, with some reaching strengths over 6.0 in magnitude. So these aren't all just little tremors. Some of these are pretty big. It says the largest in the series was recorded as a 6.8 magnitude and prompted a tsunami warning that lasted several hours before being canceled, according to the United States Geological Survey, or USGS. The quakes ranged in strength from a 4.5 magnitude, with many reaching magnitudes over 5.0, that could cause damage and possible loss of life. The cluster sat about 75 miles off the coast of the Iwate prefecture, with one earthquake striking further north near the Hokkaido prefecture. So, again, why it matters. Well, they'll tell us here in the Newsweek article, but again, why it matters to us as Christians is because this is a part of Bible prophecy. And it mentions earthquakes specifically, so that's really important. And we can also look at like earthquakes increasing as a kind of birth pain. So if you're not familiar with what that is, basically we have all these end time prophecies that's going to happen throughout the tribulation, and the idea is that we're going to get little shadows of that before the tribulation that leads up to it, and so it's kind of like a woman in travail, a woman who's about to give birth. She has contractions. The contractions happen faster and faster and faster, and they hit harder and harder and harder. The same idea with these prophetic things, and that's before the return of Jesus. That's the ultimate. That's like the baby being born. That's like what we're waiting for. So the idea is before the return of Jesus, these things should be increasing. We mainly see that during the tribulation, but the idea is we'll see shadows of that beforehand. So we know that throughout the book of Revelation, when it talks about the 7-year tribulation, there's plenty of earthquakes, and they're bad. They're like really really bad earthquakes, the worst the world has ever seen. So we want to pay attention to stories like this to see if we're starting to see those birth pangs, or if we have been seeing them for a while. So it says Japan sits atop the Pacific Ring of Fire, where the Pacific Plate interacts with several others, such as the Philippine Sea Plate and the Eurasian Plate. This tectonic setting generates around 1,500 earthquakes per year in Japan, roughly 18% of the world's seismic activity, making it the most earthquake-prone countries globally. Major earthquakes in Japan can also trigger deadly tsunamis and widespread destruction, as witnessed in 2011, when a 9.0 magnitude quake led to catastrophic loss of life and a nuclear disaster in Fukushima. Japan's complex coastline is vulnerable to tsunamis, Tokyo's foreign ministry has said. And here's a map. You can see it says a map from the USGS shows dozens of earthquakes off the coast of Japan on November 9th. So you see them all clustered here, and then up here there's that one. It says what to know. A strong earthquake, initially a magnitude 6.9 at a depth of about 12 miles, struck off the coast of Japan's Iwate prefecture at 5:03 p.m. local time on Sunday. And the USGS and the Japan Meteorological Agency, JMA, reported the event, which prompted tsunami advisories in the affected region Officials warned the tsunami waves could reach up to approximately 3.2 feet, but were later observed at lower levels. Authorities downgraded the initial tsunami warning to a forecast, meaning only slight sea level changes were expected about 3 hours post-quake. Minor tsunami activity was recorded, with waves that reached around 8 inches at Kuji and Ufanato, along Awadi's coast. Residents were instructed to keep away from coastal areas until further notice, according to the JMA. And then Japanese Prime Minister, not sure how to pronounce that, but wrote in the next post on Sunday at around 1703, an earthquake was with its epicenter off the Senriku coast occurred. Seismic intensity 4 was observed in Awadi Prefecture and Miyagi Prefecture, and an information liaison room has been immediately set up in the Prime Minister's office. A tsunami advisory has been issued, so please evacuate away from the coast immediately. The tsunami that may arrive later could be larger than expected, so please stay alert for further information. Additionally, aftershocks are possible, so please remain cautious of any strong shaking. Authorities in Japan have lifted the tsunami advisories, but continue to urge vigilance for further aftershocks in the coming days, with the JMA noting the risk for significant tremors remains highest within 2 to 3 days post-quake. So we will want to keep our eyes on that for the next few days and see what's going to happen, if anything. And, of course, pray for the people in the area. We hope that nobody gets hurt. So that's basically the story. Of course, as always, I'd love to know what you think about this. Obviously, this is an active area, but 25 earthquakes in 24 hours seems like a lot. What are your thoughts about it? Do you think this is business as usual? Do you think that this is a confirmation of prophecy, somewhere in between? I'd love to know your thoughts. And then just to kind of wrap up here, I do have a couple of announcements. So on top of everything else, so those of you that have been watching the past couple of days or so, you know we've had to leave the house again. We've had to evacuate the house. We're in another Airbnb because there was a septic issue. So they're trying to figure out what the issue is. They think that they think they found out at least one of them. Apparently, there's a pipe underneath the driveway, and because of cars rolling over it, the pipe is like bowed and submerged or something. So they're going to fix it, but we don't know how long it's going to take, don't know how much it's going to cost, and we're just praying that insurance covers it, because they should, hopefully. But you know how insurance companies are, so please keep us in prayer for that. Also, on top of everything else, YouTube has decided to shadow ban me again. And so if you don't know what shadow banning is, it's basically YouTube doesn't tell you that you've done anything wrong. They don't demonetize, or they don't do anything like that. It's just one day you get no views anymore. Like YouTube doesn't send notifications, or it just limits how many views you can actually get. It's like shadow banning, and I know the reason why it happened, because it happened right after. It was Thursday. On Thursday, I put up a video. I've been doing these throwback Thursdays, so I found some old hard drives that have old videos from old shows that I used to do that many of you haven't seen, because a lot of you are relatively new subscribers, and plus the channel that those videos used to be on got deleted years ago, and YouTube never really gave me a solid reason for that. I did one video, a mini documentary on what Nathan was going through at the time with his cancer treatment, and then they deleted that video for no reason. No reason was given. And then after me and many of you bugged YouTube enough, and kept sending them messages, they did reinstate the video. And then a couple of weeks after that, shortly after that, I did a video about so-called Christian witchcraft and how it's not a thing. That's an oxymoron. And how you can't blend Christianity and witchcraft. You can't. You're just practicing witchcraft then. And then they after that video went up, they deleted the entire channel, and I was never able to get it back. And they never gave me any reason. No, like nothing. I think they claimed cyberbullying or something like that. So it's just ridiculous. So yeah, things are a little better on YouTube nowadays compared to back then, but they still do the censorship garbage. And now I'm getting shadow banned because yeah, so Throwback Thursdays, I'm uploading some of these old videos, and the most recent one that I did this years ago, but it was on abortion and how, comparing it to ancient paganism. It's an ancient pagan practice, and if you watch the video, it's still up. They didn't demonetize it. They didn't delete the video. They didn't say it violates any guidelines. They just right after that, all of a sudden, I'm getting hardly any views. And many of you, I've heard from many people that you're not getting notified. I even stopped getting notified for a while because I use my my main Gmail account to subscribe to this YouTube channel here, and I even stopped getting notified. I had to go click the bell again. But I know that's exactly what it was. So on top of everything else, now the shadow banning thing, we're not getting any views, which of course affects AdSense and everything that we try to do to just pay for what we do here at Daily Renegade. It just makes it harder. But this is why dailyrenegade.com is so important, because people over there I'm not getting shadow banned there. That's my own website. And at dailyrenegade.com you get full videos, you get early access, ad-free, all of that stuff, and you don't have to worry about the censorship stuff. So, of course, YouTube picked a terrible time to do this, but that's how it was the last time. The first time when they deleted my entire channel. This is why I created Daily Renegade. They deleted the entire channel, so I had to create Daily Renegade as a place that would be safe to post whatever I want, and we can talk and fellowship without having to worry about censorship. But all that was happening the first time Nathan had cancer, and we had to move to Memphis for St. Jude. So it was a terrible time, and now they're shadow banning again at the time that we're not even in our house. We're in an Airbnb again, and it's a lot. So yeah, just keep us in prayer, and just pray that whatever is going on with just this. I mean, it feels like the past few months it's just been one thing after another, and I'm not the kind of guy that looks for a demon behind every bush, but lately I've been really wondering, is this some kind of attack? Because it's just kind of ridiculous. It's like it's just one thing after another. When is it going to stop? So, yeah, please keep us in prayer that whatever this is, it breaks and stops, and we can just live our lives and do ministry and be about the work of God and stuff, because all this stuff obviously makes it more difficult. So, yeah, and as far as right now, I think financially we're okay. But I don't know, because we don't know what insurance is going to cover and what it isn't. So I wouldn't say there's like a big demand right now for financial assistance or anything, but we always do have donation options available. They're listed in the description below. So if you'd like to help, you're absolutely welcome to do that. And I'm always going to be honest with you guys. Like if it's something we just don't need, or if it's something like right now I don't know. I think we're okay. Like if insurance covers it, then we're totally fine. Then we're good. God's been providing. A lot of you guys have been really generous. And so far with the shadow banning thing, it's only been a couple days, so I don't know how long it's going to last. I don't know how much it's going to affect AdSense revenue. So I don't know. So I'm not necessarily going and asking for financial donations for this situation right now, and I'm hoping it doesn't come to that, because I don't really like doing that. But a good friend years and years and years ago, but like right when I got out of New Age and I was starting to get into Christian ministry and stuff, during that time when I wasn't in ministry yet, but I was like, I guess preparing for it. And at that time, Christina and I were like flat broke. I was on disability. I couldn't work. She worked at like a fast food place, and then she had like a bank job for a little while. But we basically made like no money. And I had a friend of mine that said, well, Josh, you should post on Facebook and ask people to help you out. There's probably a lot of people that would. And I was really against it. And I told this friend, I said, I don't know if I can bring myself to do that. I just feel terrible. I don't want to, I don't want to mooch off people. And the way that she said it, she was like, this is an older woman. Actually, she's been following us for years and years and years. Um, and her husband, her and her husband, have been following my stuff for years, and we're all friends and everything. But she said, basically something along the lines of, Josh, there are people that actually want to help you, and you're depriving them of that if you don't offer anyway. Think about it like this: if they help you, they get rewards in heaven, right? And I said, well, it's up to God, I guess. I don't know. Um, I'm not gonna and by the way, I'm not gonna make any promises for anything like that for anybody. But she said, you're depriving them of that if you can't get over your own pride, really, because it was rooted in pride. If you can't get over your own pride and just tell people how they can help if they want to, and I've held on to that this whole time. I mean, so every time that something has come up, I have talked about it, and yeah, I do get flack for it. Some people don't like that I even bring it up or bring up the option, which is kind of ridiculous. But I don't beg. I just have I tell you what the problem is. I put the option out there. If you care to help, great. If not, no big deal. You can pray. You can always pray. That's and I've always said that that's more effective anyway. Um, but yeah, prayer, and I've always said too, like, I'm never going to make any promises for God. If you choose to help financially, you might not get anything in return, and but that's not why you're doing it anyway. Um, like, I'm not going to make promises for God or say that sow a seed and all that garbage. I'm not at all. Never been into that. Um, so yeah. So anyway, just being honest about it. I think we're okay financially. But what I would love is prayers for that to continue. Prayers that the insurance company will take care of this and quickly, and then really just prayers of strength for myself, for Christina, and for our kids, because obviously it's traumatic, being in another Airbnb again, because when we had to be in Airbnbs for 2 months or 3 months, however long it was, that was when Nathan died. And so having to leave our home again, and get in another Airbnb right in the city too, right in Oklahoma City. So it's chaotic, and there's not like a yard for the kids to play outside, and I wouldn't anyway, because it's not like the safest area. All of that is obviously bringing up a bunch of stuff, and it's making it difficult. So yeah, just keep us in prayer for strength, wisdom, some better circumstances, because we just want to be in our house, and just we want some stability. We haven't had stability in months, and it's the kids are handling it great, but I can't imagine that that's really good for them to have to move around so much and just have everything so all over the place. So yeah, just keep us all in prayer. Overall, our family's doing great. Like, we're all together. All love each other. We're not like bickering or anything like that. Nothing like that has gotten to that point. But but it is hard, and, especially for Christina. And I just really want her to be able to be comfortable, and to be able to relax and be able to settle down. And she's had to do a lot of running around, because I can't drive because of my bone disease. So anytime driving needs to happen, like, she's the one that has to do it. And so she's been having to run back and forth between this place and our house, which is like a half an hour drive, and city driving. And so yeah, it's not easy, but we're just praying that this won't last too long. All right. That's probably enough updates. I'm sure I'm going to get complaints from some people that it's like half of this video was updates, but it is what it is. A lot of you guys want to know. A lot of you guys ask me all the time, and it's a lot easier to do this in a video than it is to respond to a whole bunch of messages. So yeah. All right. I want to know what you think about the earthquakes. Do you think we're going to see some more in the next coming days, weeks, months? Do you think the time we're living in right now is special and set aside for something prophetic? Or again, do you think that this is just business as usual? This is just how the world works? I'd love to know your thoughts. Thank you so much, and until next time, take care and God bless.